Hello, everybody. Welcome to another thrilling episode of the Killer Author Club. We are here with Killer Lloyd Devereux Richards. Also with us is Lloyd's daughter, Marguerite, who made him and his first novel a viral sensation on TikTok. They are here to talk about that fun story and to tell us about Lloyd's newest book, Maidens of the Cave, book 2 in the Stone Maidens series. So we have tons to talk about. So make sure you grab your favorite snack, and we will see you on the other side.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Welcome, everyone. And my goodness, we're getting a great crowd here already. So I'm Heather Goodenkoff, along with founding members Kimberly Bell and Kara Ruda. And we are so excited to celebrate Lloyd's new book tonight in the clubhouse. So the Killers and I started the Killer Author Club so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the business. Killers like Sarah Buchanan, Frida McFadden, Angie Kim, Vanessa Lilly, and so many more. And those are just a few of the authors that are upcoming in the clubhouse. So all dates, times, etc. can be found on killerauthorclub.com. But tonight we're here with Killers Lloyd and Marguerite to talk about killing of the fictional kind, of course. So make sure you drop your questions in the comments. And although we can't get to them all, we will do our best and we'll be choosing some of them to ask our killer guests. So if you're watching this on Facebook or have a Facebook account, check out our public group, Killer Author Club. Or if you're a really hardcore member, join our private members only group called Killer Author Clubhouse, where we host our book clubs. And our next one is up on October 17th, where we have the wonderful Christina McDonald in These Still Black Waters. And again, to see that, you have to join the clubhouse exclusively. We also have a YouTube channel where you can stream us to your big flat screen TV, and you can find us wasting entirely too much time on all the social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And make sure, if you haven't, by some crazy means not found Lloyd and Marguerite on TikTok, make sure you go there and look for them. And please check out our Killer Author Club website, killerauthorclub.com. So now, without further ado, Kimberly, can you officially introduce our killer guests?
I would love to. Lloyd Devereux Richards was born in New York City and traveled extensively in Europe, Africa, and Central America before attending law school. He previously served as a senior law clerk for an Indiana Court of Appeals judge, researching and writing drafts for dozens of published opinions, including the appeal of a serial killer sentenced to death. A father of 3, he lives with his wife, Cameron O'Connor, and their 2 dogs in Vermont. Maidens of the Cave is his second novel after Stone Maidens. In February of 2023, Lloyd went viral on Book Talk after his daughter Marguerite posted a series of heartwarming videos that accrued over 49.2 million views. What? Readers fell for the serene rural Vermont home where Richards could be found walking their dogs and feeding the neighbors' sheep as his book Stone Maidens skyrocketed to #1 on Amazon. National media, The Today Show, NPR, Tamron Hall, Fox News, and many more covered the feel-good story of the father-daughter duo, highlighting the humble writer who always put family first. Okay, Lloyd and Marguerite, that's such an amazing story, and we are definitely going to talk a lot more about that in a bit. But first, let's talk a little bit about the book, Maidens of the Cave. Can you give us the elevator pitch for the story?
Yes. Maidens of the Cave is like the first book, focused on principally the protagonist, Christine Prusik, an FBI forensic agent She has a strong personality. She's willful. She's intelligent, intuitive. In this case, Maidens of the Cave, it once again uh, links her up with Sheriff Joe McFerrin, a sheriff in southern Indiana. In the first book, she met him and worked with him on a puzzling series of murders. In this book, there are different murders. It's not a gruesome, not a gory book. The murder victims are young co-eds from a state university in southern Indiana and southern Illinois, where there's a lot of limestone caves. And she has a new boss who's quite a bureaucrat and wants daily, weekly, monthly reporting, and she insists on everyone getting permission before investigating new crimes. And Christine is just not willing to put up with the BS from the top office. And when she gets a call from a medical pathologist in Illinois, she attends without permission, and then goes from there to Indiana, where there's a similar case in a cave. The victim is found in a cave. And this series of incidents keeps occurring while she's getting a lot of heat from her bosses in Chicago, because she does things very independent of normal protocols. She goes with her hunches. She's quite a personality.
She is.
She is. And I loved Christine too. She was a lot of fun. We are going to talk a lot more in a minute about the book and the TikTok story. But for now, everybody settle in for something special tonight. We are having a book themed snack. Kara, would you like to take over?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Kimberly. Okay, so you guys picked the killer snack for the show, bananas and peanut butter. Can you guys tell us why this snack was perfect with the book? Oh, and Heather's demonstrating the snack.
My dad asked me to pick the snack, and something we always ate together growing up was peanut butter and bananas. And then I kind of thought the peanut butter would represent Christine's stick-to-itiveness too. But that's something we always had like as a midnight snack together too.
Aw,
Perfect. I have to ask, yeah, creamy or crunchy?
Creamy.
Yeah, creamy. Yeah. I can't explain it. There's something about peanut butter. It's just, you either love it, and of course, there's a lot of people that are allergic to it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not, fortunately. And spreading it even with a knife on an open banana that hasn't been cut up is a nice way to do it. And, keep going down until you're at the end of the banana.
Perfect. It's the perfect snack.
I like it on bread too. It's delicious.
I like it on toast because then it gets all gooey. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love peanut butter too.
Well, thank you for that. And now everybody's going to be running to the kitchen quick and to get their peanut butter and bananas. So, so now it's the time of our show where we really put you on the hot seat, Lloyd and Marguerite. So we have this killer question that we always ask, a variation of this of our guests. And tonight the killer question is, why do you kill? So tell us, Lloyd, why do you kill in the fictional sense, of course?
Well, good question. I have to say I enjoyed reading through my adult life, Stephen King, Karen Slaughter, Michael Connelly, many other thriller writers. Enjoyed a lot of films based in that genre. And I think because the act of killing, both from the killer's point of view and from the crime solver's point of view, it brings about an immediate sense of urgency, and vital to stop the killer if you're the crime solver, and the killer must satisfy his inner demons. So you have these sort of competing forces of need to stop and need to continue to feed the flame. And this goes on in a number of books I've read in my own. And I guess it might be a haunting thought is for me that it's something peculiar about the human species. Maybe it's our, the core of our animal soul, where we started out in caves because they were a good place to defend and to protect young and your loved ones. And the kill notion is primal.
It is, and you capture it wonderfully, if we can say that about killing. You capture that so well, and the book has been getting rave reviews. We see that from the Midwest Book Review. They call it a deftly crafted and compelling read from beginning to end, offering more unexpected plot twists and turns than a Coney Island roller coaster. Maidens of the Cave is a terrific read and a welcome addition to any community library contemporary mystery suspense collection. And that's from the Midwest Book Review. So congratulations on that.
Very nice.
And we have a bazillion other questions for you about the book. But, I guess what I think people are wondering right now is, besides being a fabulous read, it became a runaway hit. And that's amazing. Can you tell us how that happened?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, sure, Marguerite.
Sure.
From the more TikTok standpoint. What initially inspired me to make the TikTok, which hadn't become a runaway sensation, like you say, was just how much my dad truly loves writing and how he always stuck with it, even when no one was reading his book that it published. I mean, when he published, that was like exciting enough. And so when he finished Maidens of the Cave, the sequel last summer, and he really, he had it edited. He was so into it, and no one was reading Stone Maidens. It really touched my heart. And so I consume TikTok, and I know how powerful TikTok is. And I was like, well, what if I made a video for you on TikTok? And he didn't know what TikTok was. And he was like, no, I don't really want to do that. And so we didn't. And then 6 months went by, and I brought it up again, and he was more open to the idea. So when he was just sitting at his desk, I made a quick little video that we all saw. And to answer your question, why it got so viral and people were so interested in his book, I think a few things. One, I think they saw him a little, how much I loved him, what a good father he is. And then someone who spends 14 years writing a book, has dedication and is a hard worker. But then as they started reading the book, he wrote a really beautiful book. It's a really good book. And I knew that. And I wish other people knew that. So I think that little combination of him being so lovely and such a good father and a hard worker, and the book being so beautiful, it was, and then with a viral video, it's sort of this perfect little cocktail.
Yeah. Did you already have a big TikTok following when that happened, or did that kind of take off for you as well?
Video posted, and I started the account that night. He didn't even know he doesn't really even understand any of that. So I started an account and I posted the video, and it's at 57.1 million views now.
Oh, what? Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Incredible.
Well, and that is such a testament. I mean, we love our dads, and I think that love, it's like a little digital love letter to your dad, that, the video. And I know I recently lost my dad, and it just warms my heart to see it's a love story between dad and daughter. And then you put on top of that what an amazing read it is. We're just thrilled for the success of the book and for you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I actually think that's part of it. It's a lot of people would comment that they either lost their father or they were never close with their dad. And so it means a lot for them to see a father and daughter who, my dad always loved me and was there for me and took care of me. And so I think that's a really special, beautiful thing. And I think that was kind of part of it. And then I love, and he loves when people say he's my TikTok dad. Yes, absolutely. He is. You have a TikTok dad, maybe so I love that aspect too.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's great. really great. Yeah.
But as she says, it took 14 years to write the first book because I was a full-time lawyer and I worked on weekends and at nights, and I didn't know anything about writing a book. So I took a lot of assistance in editing from a local college writing instructor. They have a local writing school here in Montpelier, Vermont. And I worked with him for 2.5 years trying to understand all the elements of writing a book, pace, character, point of view, backstory, front story, character development, location setting. And, all these elements have to come together. And for many years, the book did not come together. I think it's important for your viewers to understand. I spent a lot of years making mistakes, basically. I was just willing to pursue it because I wanted to get to the finish line. I wanted to have a book that worked. And it took a lot of years to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Was it always the same story? Did you start with Stone Maidens and stick with it, or did it evolve and change?
The lead character was the same, and the introduction of the local sheriff as well. What really changed for me was, like I say, learning how to construct it in a way that would be cinematic. It would be intriguing always from the reader's point of view, and a lot of times I had digressions that really, I don't know. In reading Stephen King, you can read both Stephen King's The Stand, which is considered one of his best books. You can read it edited and unedited. The unedited version is 1,200 pages. The edited version by the publisher is around 600 pages.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
know that. Oh.
When you read both of them, when you read the unedited version, the digressions really distract. He's a great writer. I love him. But, I had to learn myself to stick with the story. How is this working for the book? What you're writing about. So I had to learn a lot of things and put them together. And that takes time, and for me, it was important to make all the mistakes I did because I got to see what I was doing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we're all writers. We learn so much with every book. Yeah, like I find like I'm the queen of digression too. digression. And you learn so much about yourself as a writer as you go through and find what works and doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the whole thing for me also, I think and I'm sure this might be the case for you, I'm sure it is. When I read another author's book, it's like there's two sets of eyes following the words. Right. You're seeing how you realizing how he's going to tell this in this chapter, how the action is going to focus, where it's going to focus, where you're going to go next. I just like to do that analytically. Your brain is automatically doing that when you're a writer. Mm-hmm. You're seeing how the other writer does the same thing you do, but does it in his own or her own way.
Yeah. 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 And one of the things that I kept thinking, I read Maidens of the Cave. I didn't read Stone Maidens, but I think from what I'm seeing about the first story too applies. But like, I kept thinking, gosh, what a lot of research went into this too. And without giving anything away, the process of how the killer was killing, I was like, how does he even come up with this? I mean, you must have done tons of research.
I did. I also have a natural interest in natural history, and I worked for many years before I was a lawyer at different zoos. I went to a private school that had the only certified zoo in the world in Millbrook, New York.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I have a real focus and interest in natural history, so it was a pleasure to do a lot of that research.
Marguerite, we have a lot of questions for you coming in. Like, one, do you want to write a book? And then another one is, do you want to write a book with your dad someday? Are you a writer?
I'm not a writer. I always thought, because I grew up watching him write, and he would tell a story, he'd make up stories, he'd read a lot. I kind of thought I was supposed to be a writer, and I kind of had pressure on myself for a while, not from him, just myself. Mm-hmm. And I love storytelling, but I actually love doing it through photography and videos. So even before this TikTok and stuff, I love taking pictures of friends and family, but not writing as much, not like my dad. So, but I do love storytelling. There's lots of ways to tell a story.
You really are. Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
I find writing extremely difficult, and I'm blown away at what an incredible anybody who can write. It really blows. It's very difficult for me personally. I think it's amazing.
It's always an adventure, and I feel the same way with photography and watching the storytelling and video making. I know I've tried to make a few videos, Marguerite, and it's hard. So it's that we each have our own strengths and talents and the ways we tell our stories, and they're all so equally important. But I did want to go back to the caves, Lloyd, because it's such a creepy setting. Now, are you a spelunker? Do you frequent caves, or have you? And what drew you to that location to have as the scene of the crimes?
Well, good question. In both books, and since this one is Maidens of the cave itself becomes important. I lived for 8 years in Southern Indiana. I went to law school there, and I worked for a judge afterwards. And in Southern Indiana, it's like Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois. There's a lot of limestone, and wherever there's limestone, when rainfall occurs, it trickles down into the limestone and it dissolves the limestone. And over millions of years, you get these incredible caves all through Southern Indiana and Kentucky, Tennessee. And when Marguerite may not remember it, but I took the kids. One of the nice things about it, as you must know from living in Iowa, in the summer, it's so hot in the Midwest, hot and humid. If you go to a public cave, caves are uniformly 54 degrees. So if it's 100 degrees outside in the summer, it feels wonderful to go inside of a cave. Now, I myself am not a spelunker. I don't crawl on my belly through tight wedge spots. I have a little bit of claustrophobia. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of these caves in Southern Indiana where you can walk in, and they're set up with little stairs and railings so you don't fall down. And I cited it naturally since I lived there, the second book, Maidens of the Cave, using those wonderful caves as a backdrop for the crimes.
Yeah, perfect location for.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
creepy
Nice.
and claustrophobic for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Somebody asked, and I can't find it back, but was Stone Maidens based on a real case or a cold case?
Very good question. Yes, I went to Indiana University Law School, which has a graduate school and an undergraduate student body of over 50,000 students in Bloomington. They have other campuses in Indiana, which altogether it's a lot more. But when I was there were a series of unsolved murders of co-eds. There's a lot of hardwood forests around the campus, beautiful forest. And I knew one of the victims who survived.
Wow.
And I knew her, and I talked to the detectives which were investigating her case, and they suspected that while she survived, the similarities of the other cases where the women did not made them believe that the perpetrator was the same person. They never caught him. But I think this formed a kernel of an idea in my mind when I moved to Vermont. And so 10 years after moving to Vermont, working as a lawyer here, I had this, like I told you, this desire to write a book, which I didn't know how to tell the story in a novel form. I had to learn how to do that. But the idea did come from a very real incident in Southern Indiana.
Wow.
Wow.
And you know what? We could probably talk to you guys all night. Questions.
Is this a hit, Kara?
Yes, I think it might be time for the next segment, Kimberly.
Is that me?
It is.
It is. Okay, so Lloyd is giving away 3 copies of Stone Maidens. All you have to do to answer, is it Stone Maidens or Maidens of the Cave? Either one. All you have to do to enter is answer this question about our guest, and we will choose a winner from the correct answers. Bonus points for joining the Killer Author Clubhouse on Facebook or subscribing to our YouTube channel. And the question is, how many views have Lloyd and Marguerite's videos had on TikTok to date? Now, you don't have to be exact because we have changed the number as what we reported it. We heard it's a lot higher, but get in the neighborhood, and we will come back in around this time tomorrow and choose a winner from the
And
pie.
probably by tomorrow, it'll be even higher by tomorrow.
Probably.
Yeah, just get in the neighborhood. We're good. Okay, and you guys, the Killers love independent bookstores and want to support them in any way we can. That's why we've partnered with Bookshop and have our very own Killer Author Club store on their website. We'll be dropping that link in the comments. But in the meantime, and speaking of indies, Lloyd has selected Bear Pond Books as his favorite indie. Lloyd, can you tell us why this store is so special to you?
Well, it's in my local town. We're the smallest capital in America, 8,500 people. And it's been there a long time. It's been there over 50 years. And you may have seen the newspaper this summer earlier. We had a terrible flood. And it wiped out Main Street and State Street, the two main streets. And a lot of the stores haven't come back. But Bear Pond Book made a real effort, and they're open now. It really looks wonderful. We were just down there today.
Oh, wow. Gosh, yeah, those floods were terrible.
Yeah, they were pretty bad, but it looks great now. They've got it all spiffed up.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So we'll go ahead and drop the link to
Already did it.
into the comments, so you can,
Yep.
you can visit the bookstore and Bear Pond and get all the copies of Lloyd's books that you want, among anything else on your book to be read list. So make sure you check that out.
For sure.
Okay.
Whose turn? Where are we?
We're on Heather. We're on CAC Celebrates.
Yeah, and that's, I think, Kimberly.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Oh,
I'm happy to do it. Hang on. Okay, so yes, as much as we love to invite every killer author to be featured on our shows, there are so many fabulous ones and only 3 of us, and we only do this every other Tuesday. But we cannot let this evening go by without celebrating 2 very special releases. Imperfect Lives by C.J. Washington. From the author of The Intangible comes a powerful story of double lives, hidden truths, and the desire to have the perfect life, no matter the price. And we have a copy to give away. So make sure to comment if you haven't already. We will be just pulling those from any old random comment, and I will drop the link to, if you want to go ahead and purchase that book, I'll drop that in just a second as soon as I'm done talking. A second book that we want to celebrate is Lie by the Pool by Susan Walter. Unhoused and desperate for sleep, Bree sneaks into a Beverly Hills mansion and crashes in the pool house. When she's caught, she's not kicked out. She's invited to a party. But when the owner is found murdered the morning after, Bree doesn't know if she's suspect or if she's next. We also have a copy of Lie by the Pool to give away. So make sure to comment, and we will draw the names tomorrow night.
awesome.
And as you know, membership has its privileges. Every episode, we choose a name from the Killer Author Clubhouse hat to win a piece of swag. T-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. But remember, you have to be a member of the Killer Author Clubhouse private Facebook page, so come find us. But tonight's winner is Carmen Tanner Slaughter. So Carmen, please send one of the killers your address, and we will send some killer swag your way.
Okay, and now is a very important moment for you guys, Lloyd and Marguerite, because you have survived the Killer Author Club. So we put a big fat thing over your faces, but we will also send you a copy in case you'd like to remember us forever. And we really appreciate you guys being here, and congratulations on surviving.
Thank you very much.
This was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we have fun with you guys too. We really could talk to you forever, but since it's a half an hour show, we couldn't. But anyway, it was, I mean, like, so heartwarming, and also congratulations on everything.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Congratulations. Absolutely.
Yes.
And we will be back in, in 2 weeks with the one and only fabulous Jean Kwok. She will be joining us right here in the Killer Author Club on October 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern to talk about her new book, The Leftover Woman, and she's going to give away some copies. And don't forget, the next Killer Author Book Club is on October 17th at a special time at 5 p.m. Eastern, when we'll be discussing These Still Black Waters by Christina McDonald. She'll be coming to us from London, so we have a special time for that. And our very own Killer Kimberly says about the book, this is not the book you think it is, and I mean that in all the best possible ways. So we've got Christina coming on October 17th. Mark your calendar for that. And then remember, Killer Author Club, a book club is exclusive to the Killer Author Clubhouse, and there will be spoilers, so come join the fun. So for the link to the Clubhouse, for times, full schedule, past episodes, recipes, and merch, surf to killerauthorclub.com. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Lloyd and Marguerite, for spending your evening with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having us.
Goodbye, everybody.
I guess I'm a killer through our love into